Let's welcome John Prather, going diamond in a hurry. Woo!
Thank you so much, Maggie, for that amazing introduction. So like Maggie said, John Prather here again, sponsored into the business by the amazing Elaine Shekinino from Fredericksburg, Virginia, and founders Emeralds, Devang and Arti from Los Angeles, and founders Diamonds, Going EDC and Beyond, Vishal and Sanika Jain. So super excited to be sharing with you guys here tonight. What I want to talk about today is how can we use BWW to succeed? I'm really excited to talk about this tonight. Talked with Vishal, Sanika, and Devang and Arti the other day about this topic. So really excited to cover it. And I guess the reason behind, before I bring up some people to share and kind of really dive into the topic, is because I feel like for me, the true key to the success that I found in this business is definitely BWW. You know, with the help of coaches and mentors, with the help of people who have guided me, it wasn't just a matter of doing what they said, but it was doing what they suggested to the highest potential that I could do it. You know, the way to achieve success in this business, as I learned, is very predictable and it's very consistent over a long period of time, just like we talked about earlier today. So like I said, what I want to dive into is let's just jump right into it and get straight into the basics. And then I'm going to invite a couple up so that they can share as well. But what I'm going to do is let me kind of set the stage, like I said, for what we're going to talk about. So what I'm going to do is let me make this full screen and then share my screen with you guys so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Can you guys see my screen? Thumbs up. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So like it says on the screen, how to use BWW to succeed. Because again, like I said in the presentation, Amway is established, BWW is established. It's you in the middle who is the variable, who is the question mark. So if you can leverage the coaching and the mentorship that's already gone before you, you can achieve success a lot faster, a lot quicker, and a lot easier than if you try to do everything on your own or you try to fight that mentorship. So what I want to dive into, like I said, is the first thing that I want to talk about is, again, success in this business is very predictable. And you're more than welcome to take a screenshot of this, obviously take notes for sure. But like I said, success in this business is very predictable. And after about the first 30 to 90 days in business, I really understood through the help of my coaches and mentors what it was going to take to achieve the goals that I wanted. It wasn't rocket science. It wasn't a elaborate plan. It was simply just following the steps that they had already gone through to achieve the success that I wanted. And I think this slide is one we've used a lot. I've seen a lot with, at least with Vishal, Sanika, and Devang and Arti, who have helped me, is a very simple roadmap to success. Phase D, obviously, you want to begin with the end in mind. What's the end goal? It's different for everybody. Some people, it's being a full-time business owner, having that freedom to do what you want, when you want, with the money that you have. Some people have other goals and aspirations, maybe getting out of debt, whatever it might be. You can equate the goals or dreams that you have with a level in this business. You want to calculate. This is one thing that really helped me early on in business, is really analyze what it is that you want and put a number to it. How much money is it going to take for you to get to wherever you want to be? Like for me, obviously being financially, full-time business owner, having that freedom it's finite. It's not an infinite amount of money. It's not something that's, just off into space. It's something that I can easily calculate based on obviously where I've gone, or what I've been, achieving. So again, put a number to it. Once you put a number to it, it's very easy to talk to your coach and mentor. What level in business do you need to hit to have that goal accomplished? Maybe it's not freedom. Maybe it's not, full-time business owner. Maybe it's just getting out of debt. Maybe it's replacing your mortgage or your rent or whatever it is. But if you get really clear on what you want, it's going to be much simpler and easier to get to where you want to go. If it's kind of a figment of your imagination, you're not going to really know why you're building this business. So begin with the end in mind. Phase D, your dream desire, your dream state, but then you want to backtrack it. How do you get to where you want to go? Again, it's not a mystery. It's not a surprise. It's a pretty proven process of phase A, phase B, phase C, and phase D. Phase A is obviously launching your business. Like those of you who are on the call, who have just launched or launched within the past month or two, you're probably either in phase A or just left phase A, which is, again, just launching your business. But like we talked about in the presentation, launching your business really doesn't mean all that much. It's like a gym membership. If you get a gym membership, just getting it doesn't make you successful or make you fit. You have to access it, and that's what phase B is in the business. It's accessing the mentorship. It's honoring the partnership. It's basically doing what you said you were going to do in the process and actually following through on what you said. But again, the goal, at least in my eyes, when Vishal, Sonika, and Devang and RT and Elaine were taking me through this process, the goal for me personally was I wanted to have phase A and phase B done on the same day. And that's honestly the goal for everybody. You want to have your partners launch and honor the partnership. They said they're going to do it and they do it. But again, obviously not everyone does that. So what we help people do is we take people through that 30-day period, that core run where they develop those habits so that you can start honoring the partnership, so that you can start doing what you said you were going to do, which is just developing some simple, basic habits into your life. And once you get to phase B, it becomes, again, very predictable how to get to your goal. The biggest question mark, I would say, in these phases is between phase B and phase C. This is where most people, there's no, cookie cutter approach. Because in order to get to phase C and ultimately phase D, where you're getting consistent results, where you're launching business partners, where you're, increasing your PV, you're hitting Eagle and beyond, and you're launching people in depth. Once you get to phase C, it's a very predictable period of time when you reach your goal. You can ask your coach and mentor, depending on your goal, where that is. But to go from honoring the partnership to getting consistent results is different for everybody. And the reason because of that is because everyone starts this business at a different level. Some people come in and have, a great mindset and have achieved success in their life before, and they already know how to develop these new habits into their life. So they are able to develop these habits a lot faster and a lot easier and can get to where they want to go very, very quickly, which obviously shortens the time from phase B to phase C. But there's other business partners. And again, there's no judgment. There's no right or wrong way. But there's other business partners that come in that maybe have never had any business experience like myself, or maybe don't have the skills to develop new habits as easily as others, that maybe have family challenges, life situations that are going on, which can elongate phase B to phase C process. But again, the key is that it really doesn't matter where you're at in life or what's going on. Anybody can get to phase C. Again, the variable is just the individual. If you figure out with the help of your coach how to go through what you're going through, you can achieve getting to phase C. And again, it's like we talked about in the presentation, willingness to accept mentorship. This phase, this transition right here is where willingness to accept mentorship. This is why they wrote that phrase in the plan, because this is where the most resistance happens. When you have to delay gratify, when you have to maybe give up some things temporarily so that you can achieve the goals that you want, when you have to rearrange priorities that you would like to do, but they're not going to get you to where you want to go. This is where most people end up falling off or don't ever get to phase C or don't really end up reaching their full potential in business. It's because they just can't get out of their own way to get to phase C. So again, what do we do? And I'm going to have a couple come up that actually has mastered this and gotten to phase C, which is really exciting, but again, the process to go from phase B to phase C is quite simple. We have what we call as a 90-day core run. And again, is it 90 days? Is it strictly that amount of time? No. 90 days is just an arbitrary time, which if you do it over a period of time, you're going to see results. But it's honestly, it's just the infinity day core run where you start to develop the habits where now honoring the partnership, doing what you need to do is no longer a variable, but now you're doing that to the highest potential and you're starting to build habits of networking and building your business, because that's where the consistent results come from. The consistent results don't come from reading books, listening to audios, coming to meetings. Those are all very important to build you, because without that, you're probably not obviously going to reach those higher levels, but those don't specifically build your business. The way that you build your business is new people, new candidates, people at the board plan, people buying products, new customers. Again, it's very simple. You see the presentation every week, but how do you develop those habits so that you can have that be, just a part of your daily routine? That is the process. And once you can get yourself to phase C, and then, it's again, getting to your dream, getting to your goals is very effective and very, very easy. Obviously from there, it's a pretty standard process. So what I want to do again, before I really dive into kind of what I really want to talk about today, I said, I want to bring up a couple Carlos and Christy, Carlos Fuentes, Christy Mempan, I know they introduced themselves, brand new rising stars. So to give you guys a little background, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I know they're going to share a little bit, but to give you guys background on Carlos and Christy. So like they already introduced, Carlos has a background in finance, Christy in nursing, and we have a couple of funny stories that we don't have time to go into right now. But brand new rising stars for the last 2 months. So again, rising star is a really good indicator of growth because one, you're doing personal volume, 300 plus personal PV, both of them did it each. You're doing MG1s, which means you've developed the habit of dropping the message, taking people through a process, and ultimately getting a launch, which is the end result, which is the goal for everybody, getting a launch every month. So I know you guys have obviously hit it the past 2 months, and obviously you're looking really good to hit it again this month and just every month moving forward, which is obviously the zone, like you said, that you want to be in to get Eagle done, Platinum done, which is obviously in the very near future for you guys. So what I wanted to have you guys do is just come up and share with the team, like we talked about the different phases in business. Obviously, you guys have mastered phase B. I mean, you guys have been consistent with your habits, consistent with what you've been, obviously doing, and even moved on to obviously phase C, which is starting to get consistent results. So if you guys could just share with the team, I guess, how did you develop those phase B, honoring the partnership habits so strongly? Obviously, I know both of you guys had different journeys getting started at different times. And then how did you make that transition to phase C? Because again, that's really, I think, where the rubber meets the road. Once you get to phase C, it's very predictable, when you get Platinum done, Eagle done, Q12. So if you guys could just share with everybody, because I know you guys are on the fast track, growing, launch new partners, you're going 1,500 this month. So what are some things that you guys have learned in your journey? And if you could just share with the team and just, let us know how you got Rising Star done and why you're going Eagle in the next couple of months.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, John, for bringing us up. So again, like John mentioned, we're Carlos and Christy from Rockville, Maryland, currently launched and coached by Eagle Plus John Prather in Q12 qualification this month, flying Elaine Checanino, Founders Emeralds going Diamond, Devang and Arti, and Founders Diamonds going EDC, Vishal and Sonic with Jane. Like John said, I'm a registered nurse at the Children's Hospital.
Yeah, and my background is in finance, financial planning. So yeah, I mean, we're honored and privileged to speak with you all tonight. Really, we just want to kind of expand on what John's talking about. So we have a few notes. First, we kind of just want to go through the terms of partnership, which everyone on the call should be familiar with because that's what you signed up for. We're going to talk about, honoring the partnership consistently and eventually transitioning to phase C. So you can get started with that. John, do you want to see the terms of partnership? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, just like John was mentioning, so to describe what honoring the partnership is for those who are still learning how to honor the partnership, there on the you side, there's the daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly habits. So what we're really going to focus on are core runs, attending associations, and core volume, which are the three main ones that really helped us achieve Rising Star and honor the partnership consistently. So in terms of core run, which consists of those daily habits, at first it may feel like you're submitting a report to your boss, but that's E quadrant mentality. And so the B quadrant mentality is realizing that this system is in place to help you be accountable to no other than yourself. So, and also accountable to your new journey of entrepreneurship. So once you create that shift, sending a 30 or 90-day core run, whatever you feel feels right, is just as good as hitting a new goal, like at the gym, like John was mentioning. Attending associations weekly, the weekly board plans and trainings, PACE meetings, and whatever qualifiers that may come up. I know Vishal and Sonika had just mentioned or just released like a bunch of new qualifiers that we're really excited to be a part of. And so what really that does is, just like in the book of the business of the 21st century, the asset of surrounding yourself with like-minded people and surrounding yourself with people who are where you want to be in life. Attending these associations really help you solidify that mindset and solidify those habits, and help you game plan on what you need to do individually to move yourself forward, to grow as a person and to move your business forward. Because like John said, everyone starts at a different place, and learning everyone's stories is the funnest part. Relating to other people who were just in your shoes or same background as you, whatever it may be, attending associations definitely help exemplify that. And lastly, core volume. It's 150 PV for singles and 300 for couples. And what that does is it helps create a blueprint for your business. So Carlos and I, we have a non-negotiable of 300 PV each month at the very, very minimum. We always strive for the super circle of 500 PV. But what that does, and like John was mentioning, backtracking, if we create a 300 PV blueprint, that helps us realize that, okay, we need 25 partners who are duplicating that 300 PV so we can reach 7,500. So beginning with the end in mind and then backtracking it that way helps with that. So
yeah, no, that was great. Well said. I mean, those are definitely some of the more important, in terms of partnership, obviously, like you mentioned. So yeah, I mean, I really want to talk about how we've been able to commit to FaceB ourselves. And really the first thing in doing so is understanding that at some point in every aspect of life, like we're going to be new at some point, whether you're starting a new job, whether you're moving, whatever it may be, like at some point it's new, right? So having that understanding that there's going to be, a time of adaptability and really being okay with that, implementation into like something new into your life is okay. So for us, what that really looked like was at first, at least, was stacking habits. So this is something I would recommend to new partners, as well as just to maintain like that long-term honoring the partnership. So stacking habits is essentially, coupling like a new habit. So for example, listening to an audio or watching a BWW TV, coupling that with an existing habit. So for us, that may look like something of watching a BWW TV as you fulfill the habit of brushing your teeth, as an example. So it's very easy, but you have to be intentional about it, and you have to find those pockets of opportunity to do so. And ultimately, FaceB is really all about learning the mindset of an entrepreneur, learning how to leverage the mentorship that's available, and finally learning how developing those good habits can lead to sustainable and consistent results. So for us in developing that mindset, again, that's really just done through the core habits: reading 15 to 20 minutes of a suggested book on the book list, book of the month, or, classic book, listening to a BWW BSM, podcast, watching a BWW TV, associating, all of those core habits are really what build that mindset. And then leveraging mindset. So really for us, how we've been able to do that, and it's taken work, definitely, and again, some intentionality, but for us, the first step was really just accepting and really pursuing mentorship. Like oftentimes, like John says in his plan, we fight to qualify to be a part of the team, and then we fight off that mentorship once it's available. So that's definitely not, what we want to do. And I know Christy has a great story on kind of just a personal example of how that's impacted us.
Yeah, so accepting and pursuing mentorship. So the first thing is through communication. And we have a great book on our suggested book list called The Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster. And essentially what he talks about is that the business or your growth, your personal growth and the business will never be linear. And so personally, during a down point in my business where I felt like I wasn't getting results, or I just felt down and discouraged, I knew I had to reach out to Upline. And for some reason, it just took me a long time to do it. May it be ego or like shame, whatever it may be, those feelings are real and, totally normal. But I knew I had to reach out, and it's natural to not want to or feel like you can do it without it. But I'm so glad I did. So after picking up the phone and talking to Arti and telling her what I was going through and the challenges I faced, essentially I felt so much better. And she gave me the perspective, the reassurance, and the belief that I am capable, and which drastically changed the trajectory of my thoughts and actions, and then as a result, my business. So that was definitely a story that I'll never stop telling.
Yeah, I mean, that just speaks to the power right there of really leveraging mentorship by accepting it and pursuing it. It all starts with that communication, which is great. So another way to leverage mentorship is through edification. So this is something we've seen a great example of through, through our own upline. We've seen how close John and Elaine have become with Devang and Arti, Vishal and Sanako from the very, very beginning. I remember coming around when in-person meetings were still a thing, and like John and Elaine, I don't know if it was planned, but they would always walk in together. And I just saw like that relationship really building. And obviously we've seen the growth that has taken place since then. So that's something that we wanted to create for ourselves to really leverage our upline and then duplicate that, on our team as well. So some of the benefits, in obviously the BWW system. So there's kind of two aspects of the benefits, which I know Chrissy is going to touch on.
Yeah, so there's benefits that we've experienced both inside and outside the business. So within the business, helping us get started with Amway and BWW, helping us share products with customers and helping build a team. And that's all of that is what they've done successfully and can help you with as well. Some benefits outside of the business are the intangibles that just come as a result of the association with BWW is what we want to talk about more in depth. So figuring your life out is something firsthand that we've done recently. So phase B is all about developing and sustaining success habits to eventually honor the partnership and transition to phase C to create those consistent results. But we know it's not easy to honor the partnership without figuring your life out first. So inconsistency in honoring the partnership doesn't lead to phase C and consistent results. So this is an area your coaches can help you with in whatever stage of your life you're in. So first and foremost, your coaches and mentors are not your life coaches or your
disclaimer. They're not your therapist or
or life coaches. So a recent change that we've done in our huddles is that instead of reflecting on the negative things that happened the past week or just looking back too much, we've decided to look forward. What's happening next? Who else is in the pipeline? What are our next goals? And that has helped us keep the ball rolling forward, keep the momentum going. And so in doing that, our upline has able to provide us with advice, perspective, and sometimes even a different attitude on how to approach life problems. Like we've walked away from so many huddles where we're like, wow, we're so glad that we are upset that we didn't think about it, but we're so glad that we have mentors who think about them for us. So that's the reason they're able to provide us with that, and why we seek it from them is because they have the success in the areas of life we want, and they've also helped so many people face so many different challenges, so they have all those experiences in their pocket.
Exactly. And I think in talking about kind of being in this phase C, obviously leveraging mentorship, the system available, some of the benefits that we've had from just being around the association and the BWW system, I guess a little bit more broadly is like, we feel that we've learned to at least get on the path of identifying our passion and purpose in life. And that's something that we feel, obviously, having like looked back on that now, we feel very thankful and very grateful for that this environment has encouraged us to do so, because, we just didn't, obviously looking back now, it's like, oh, I can't imagine being one of those people that go through life just day to day on the rat race, like without any real idea of where to even start to figure out what their purpose in life or what their passions are. And that's something that we feel we've been able to do. So that's something that we're very thankful for in and of itself. Learn to prioritize what's really important to us and how to make the best use of our three assets, namely time, money, and energy. That's definitely something through the associations, through the examples in this business that we've been able to emulate. And then along the same lines, for us, obviously we're in a relationship. It was important for us to have that example of long lasting, happy, not just like you're married for 50 years, but you like hate each other, like obviously like happy relationships. So that's something that, speaking personally for us, like we didn't have that in our families. Like both of our parents got separated, which is okay. We're doing all right, but it's like, we wanted to see that example of sustainable, long-term, happy relationships. Which we see through our upline and through so many different leaders in the business. And then lastly, I can't really touch on this enough, but through this environment, through the system, the tools, etc., we've really been able to develop a positive and optimistic attitude. Something you really, really like, I can't stress enough how much of an impact that's had on us, of just now becoming people of seeing, always choosing to see like, the glass half full as opposed to half empty. Always having that perspective and that mindset, being optimistic about any problems that come up is intangible. It's something you can't put a price on. And that's what we've gained and experienced through this business. So, yeah.
So like all of these benefits, sorry to take up too much time, John, but all these benefits are available to each and every one of you through this BWW system. So as we work to develop the mindset of an entrepreneur by honoring the partnership and leverage the mentorship that's available, we were able to transition to phase C and create some consistent results, having qualified as Rising Star these past couple of months. So commitment to phase B and honoring the partnership habits leads to results. So for example, reading a chapter a day leads to 2 books a month, which leads to 12 books a year, which in itself is a major mindset shift. And 10 DTMs a day can lead to 10 plus MG1s a month, which leads to 1 to 2 launches a month, which leads to Eagle in like 3 months. So that's really it. So the BWW has been in place for decades and it's helped thousands of people. So it works as long as you work it.
Yeah, just like John said, I mean, it's very predictable. It's set in place, obviously been around for a very long time, and it works as we see all the financially independent, good looking people on this call. So yeah, again, thank you, to our upline for the opportunity, and we'll pass it back over to John.
Yes, that was amazing. Thank you guys so much. And before you guys hop off, I just want you guys to share with everybody. So obviously you're in phase C. So what are your goals coming up? What are your next coming goals? When are you planning on going, hitting these goals and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you asking. So for us, I mean, we've set pretty aggressive goals. We feel that we're in a place, that our habits align with those goals. We're not just setting them for no reason or without like an actual plan for how to get there. So for us, of course, game planning. So for us, December is going to be our Eagle month. And then March is really when we want to start, qualify as new silvers.
2022.
Yeah. Always put the year. March of 2022, silver, new silvers.
Okay, amazing. That'll be a great Christmas gift for the upline, Eagle in December. And my birthday is in March, so I'll be expecting that as a birthday gift.
Happy
Silvers. No, but I think you guys absolutely killed it. I think, like you said, very transparently, how to get to phase B and then how to transition. It's just all about habits. It's just all about taking the steps necessary, and there's ups and downs, and no journey is smooth, but it's just a matter of if you plug into your upline and you stay committed, obviously the results come, and obviously everyone's been through ups and downs, and I've seen you guys staying very, very consistent for the past many, many months. So it's no surprise Rising Stars happening, Eagles happening, Platinum's happening. It's just a matter of going through the journey, because that's what happens after you get to phase C. It becomes very, very predictable on where you guys are going to go. And, obviously anybody on this call that makes that decision. So thank you guys so much for sharing. I think that was absolutely amazing how BWW can really help grow you, and grow yourself. So thank you guys so much. And yeah, I mean, what I kind of want to wrap up, I mean, Carlos and Christy kind of touched on everything, is because that's where most, at least again, for myself, when I was making the decision, that's where I needed the help, how to get to phase C. Because once you get to phase C, after that, as you become a leader, it's now about helping other people get to phase C. The way that you get to phase D is by helping more people be in phase C, because as more people develop their leadership skills, the more obviously they can grow and develop themselves, which is amazing. So I think you guys hit it right on the head, like I said. So phase C, and then now leading others to get to phase C. So, I mean, a couple of things that I want to touch on is obviously, again, like we talked about, it's a very predictable path. The easiest way you can get through a minefield is behind the footsteps of somebody who's already been there. Our uplines, our mentors, just like Carlos and Christy mentioned, have been where we've been and are where we want to be. So if you just follow in their footsteps and how they've made decisions, how they've structured their days, what they've done as far as working this business, it's not rocket science how they got to where they got. It's just a matter of doing the work and being consistent with doing the work. And even though the results might not be there as much as you want, you realize as you grow in this business that you're never going to be as far as you want to be when you want to be there. But it's just a matter of if you keep doing what you want to do, eventually you're going to hit that. Just like Bill Britt said, you always have a goal that you're shooting for, because that's obviously, happiness. It's in the pursuit. I think it says happiness is in the process of accomplishing a worthwhile goal or worthwhile dream. It's right behind me, so that's what happiness is. It's following that path. So again, following the footsteps behind somebody. And as I kind of wrap up, I have a couple of more slides, before we kind of bring this to an end. But like Carlos and Christy talked about, honoring the partnership, obviously it might differ from, person to person, because you're honoring the partnership with the person working with you. But again, these are the general steps that obviously they walked through already. Another thing is, again, how do you leverage BWW? An amazing thing that BWW just came out with was the new promotion of first month free, first time ever in BWW history. The first month of the basic or core packages are free, which means you get a whole month worth of audios, videos, BMP, everything, so you get to leverage the system for free for your first month, and you get to develop those habits and really start yourself off right. So again, anybody that's new to the call, anybody that's obviously registering, I hope you really understand the value, because there's millions of dollars worth of education in these talks, and you're getting it for free, at least for the first month. So I know I didn't get that opportunity, so I hope you use it very, very wisely. And again, last thing is, again, go pro or go home. Again, using the BWW system, it's very predictable, just like Carlos and Christy said. By getting access to the pro BSM, you get access to so much material. Again, the goal once you become phase C is to help other people become phase C. You have your end in mind, but again, the only way where you can get to where you want to go is if you can help enough other people get to where they want to go. So you want to go pro or go home. Figure out how to get on pro BSM. Again, it's $199 per month. And again, if you're just getting started, obviously go with the first month free. But as you want to develop into business, just like Carlos and Christy mentioned, I remember when they made the decision, hey, we want to get on pro. Hey, we want to take our business seriously, because again, having unlimited access to all of the BSM, all of the talks, all of the share materials. Again, if you want to develop other business partners, you have to have material that you can share. Again, starting off with basic and core is great, but you're limited in what you can offer to other business partners. So again, one thing that I know Vishal and I and Devang and RT and Sonika and I were talking about is, leveraging this tool, guide people to the BWW system. This is a huge tip for those who are leaders and want to become leaders on the call. I remember hearing this in an audio, and it really changed my perspective of how I work with people. Is that the way that, again, it's not obviously the same for everybody, but the way that you grow really, really big in this business and develop leaders is you allow the BWW system to do it. If you try to mother hen and do every single thing for every single person, you'll never grow big in this business, because you have to let people develop and grow. And if you can guide people to the system by sharing them audio talks as they're going through the process, as new business partners on the pro subscription, you have 100 talks that you can share with new partners in their first 90 days. Are you leveraging those? Are you leveraging the share talks? Because if you can connect the right talk to the right person, I remember so vividly the first few talks that I listened to from Nick and Stephanie Nowoki, from Terry O'Shea, who's a football player. I remember Tracy and Kimberly Eaton and many, many others, obviously Vishal and Sonika, their talks as well. Those talks, I remember my first days were so perfect for a new partner, because they taught me, what do I need to do in my first 90 days in business to get me going? And then once I get to those first, developing those phase B, the BSM audios, once you get somebody into the system will do the work. You have to be there. You have to help them. You have to guide them and coach them, like Carlos and Christy were talking about. But developing the mindset and how to build this business, you're not a guru. You know what I mean? You're not, teaching business, mindset and things like that. You're leading people to a system that develops that on their own. So if you can develop that art of promoting, I know Nick and Steph have an amazing talk on the art of promotions. It's promoting the meetings, it's promoting the system, it's promoting the audios. That's why we have these meetings. Some people say, oh, I remember I heard this in a talk. I think it was the one that came out this week, they talk about the same thing every week. The meeting is the same every Wednesday and every Sunday. And typically the people that say those are the ones that don't have new people that are coming every single week. I know I've never said that, because I always have new people at every board plan, at every meeting, because I want the same things taught, because I know that the same thing taught is what works. That's how I got to where I am, and how Vishal and Sonika, Devang and RT and all these leaders got to where they are. So I want the same thing taught. I don't want something new, because I'm not doing new things. I'm doing what's been taught. So when you learn how to promote events like the BBS coming up, Nick and Stephanie are doing a first ever online BBS for the BWW team. Have you gotten your ticket? Have you started promoting it? The thing that I loved about I remember right when it came out, I got my ticket immediately. And I remember thinking about it yesterday. It's so amazing, because I feel like that's where getting people to the BBSs opened them up to the entire team and the entire system. And it made it so easy to get people to come to conferences and plugging into the systems. And I'm so glad that BWW has figured out how to do the BBS, and Nick and Steph are amazing speakers. So how are you promoting it? If you don't have the ticket, how can you promote it? If you don't come to the meetings, how can you promote it? You want to, again, allow the system to build your leaders. You first have to be built, which means you have to be plugged into the system like Carlos and Christy talked about. But then again, it's not rocket science. How do you get to phase D is by helping others get to phase C. So how effectively can you get people, to see the value of BWW, to share audios with them? Again, if you aren't plugged in, again, big nugget right here. If you're not plugged in, how can you plug others in? You must be plugged into the system. You must be at all the meetings. You must be looking to help other people. If you do that, it's very simple because you're getting a lot of value out of the system. If you're getting a lot of value out of it, it's very easy to talk about it. And if you can learn that art of bringing people into the system and developing them, again, they're going to start at maybe the pro subscription, or they're going to start at the basic or the core where it's maybe $75 or $99 after your second month in business because the first month is free. But again, are you sharing them talks? Are you showing them the value like, hey, there's a lot more talks than the one a week that you get, on Mondays? Are you talking about it? Are you getting your conference ticket the first week that it comes out and promoting it to your team and the people that you're talking to? Because if you're not doing it, again, I remember hearing this, the system, the meetings, all of this is going to happen regardless of if you build your business or not. But if you get more people to it, obviously your business is going to grow faster. How long does it take for one shirt to dry in the sun? Maybe a couple of hours. How long does it take for 100 shirts to dry in the sun? A couple of hours. It's not the amount of shirts. It doesn't take longer. How long does it take for you to go platinum, eagle, Q12, ruby? It only takes a certain amount of time. And if you have enough number of people that are coming to these meetings, they're going to take the same, if not maybe even less time, to get to where you want to go. So it's just about, again, it's working very smart. This business is hard work, but once you start developing the leadership skills, it's really just working smart. It's identifying who's coming to the meetings, how can you help more people come, and working with people where they're at. That's the majority of, like I said, what I want to talk about. So again, like Carlos and Christy described, get phase B done, get into phase C, go pro or go home, start leveraging the talks. Because again, the system builds your leaders. You don't have to have some magic pill on like, how did Vishal and Sonika find 6 platinum legs plus platinum legs? How did they find hundreds, thousands of business partners all over the world? They didn't. They developed leaders who went out and did the work, and through mentoring them and coaching them, a massive organization was formed, like all the other leaders on this call. So it's not like one individual does all this work. It's a matter of guiding people so that they can develop a business themselves. So with that, the closing thoughts that I'm going to leave you guys with, like I said, is obviously you must be plugged in to plug other people's into the BWW system. And again, the last thing I want to say is that, the key to success in this business is simplicity and duplication. Like we talked about, it's very simple. It's not easy, but it's very simple how to move your business forward. And obviously you have to duplicate. So you want to ask yourself, is what I'm doing every time you're doing something in this business, is this something that's duplicatable? Do I want it duplicated? That's a good way to describe what if I'm about to do an activity, is this duplicatable and do I want it duplicated? If you're going, on a vacation and you're going to miss the BBS or the conference, is it duplicatable? That's very duplicatable, but do you want it duplicated? I don't think you do, because it's going to obviously hurt your business. And again, ask yourself that question. Is it duplicatable? Is it simple? Sometimes, again, we really, really overcomplicate this business, but it's not really that complicated. You just find other individuals that have the ambition level to build their business. And if the people that you are connecting with, launching into business, again, is everyone going to come in at the ambition level of Vishal and Sonika or, Kunkin and Samina or Kumar and everybody like that? Probably not, but you have to have that maturity that the person you're looking at isn't always the person you're looking for. Maybe that person isn't your platinum. Maybe that person isn't your honoring partnership partner. But what if they know somebody who can honor the partnership? What if they know somebody who has the ambition to go diamond? If you just throw them away, if you just let them be and you don't help them or guide them to the system, you're never going to find the leaders that, Nanda and Sangeeta, Vishal and Sonika, the Emeralds and above have found, because you're going to be, you're trying to look for perfect people. There's no perfect people in this world. You just help people where they're at, so, that's what I've learned. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm continuing to do with the help of my mentors. And I hope that added some value. But like I said, just keep it simple, just keep it duplicatable, and guide people to the system. Get plugged in, plug other people in, and you'll see the numbers in your team and this team skyrocket, because there's a lot of value being offered by BWW, but is your team or people on your team getting that value? It's a matter of if you're willing to go out and find those people that want the value. So if you're willing to do the work, you're going to find those people that want to build this business. So with that, I hope that added some value. I can't wait for the BBS that's coming up. So I hope all of you already have your ticket and the conference coming up next month. So with that, I'm done with tonight's training, and I'm going to pass it back over to Maggie for any closing announcements or anything else.
Wow, that was amazing.